To our esteemed President, Dr. Feliciano Calora Jr., Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Tessie Meristela, Vice President for Research and Extension, Dr. Carlito Lorian, Vice President for Business Affairs, Dr. Silvestre Aben, Vice President for Administration and Finance, Dr. Estelita Daclan, Board of Regents, Deans, Directors, University Administrators, Faculty, Staff, Parents, Visitors, fellow graduates. A glorious day to all of us. Today marks the milestone of our 4-year-long journey. We made lots of friends, went through tons of adventures, made lots of memories. It seems like it was only yesterday when we were clueless about what TBA means. Deceived by our seniors that CA and the CET building had 4th floors when we were asking for classrooms on the first day of classes. And how we all aimlessly ran for our next class from KM6 to KM5 or vice versa when the professor forgot to dismiss us 5 minutes earlier. Sleepless nights, a lot of crying, a lot of rage quitting, a lot of paper flipping your thesis. We made it. We finally made it. While it is a good thing to reminisce the past, we must also look forward to the future from here on out. Non plus ultra. It means nothing further beyond. In Greek mythology, these Latin words were said to have been inscribed on the pillars of Hercules in the Strait of Gibraltar. Located between southernmost Spain and northwestern Africa, it connected the Atlantic Ocean to the Mediterranean Sea. In the days of yore, the Spaniards believed that their country was the last point of solid land to the west. They thought that beyond them, there was nothing but vast expanse of water. There was nothingness. In time, Christopher Columbus sailed through the Strait of Gibraltar and discovered the New World. He proved that there was more beyond. King Charles V of Spain then reverted this phrase into plus ultra, meaning go further beyond. For a lot of people, college education is the last frontier, the non plus ultra. But to think that learning is finished after this point is a failure in education itself. Learning continues, and the pursuit of knowledge does not stop here. But the real question, I guess, is what does plus ultra mean? What does it really mean to go further beyond? John Augustus Shedd quoted that, "A ship is safe in harbor, but that's not what ships are for. The boats may be compared to people, and the vast ocean is today's society." Today's society is a homogeneous mixture that sinks the dense debris deep down, while it caresses the light debris along with its flow. It shuns those that are unique, while contradictorily claiming it treasures individuality. Out there, we may easily lose ourselves just to feel like we are part of the crowd. For me, that is the scariest part of life. And going further beyond means overcoming oneself. But again, how do we overcome ourselves? I guess it begins by reminding ourselves what it means to be human. because humans are fickle beings and they easily forget. There's a story called The Interview with God, and it goes like this. I dreamt that I had an interview with God. So, you would like to interview me? God asked. If you have the time, I said. God smiled. My time is eternity. What questions do you have in mind for me? What surprises you most about humankind? God answered, that they get bored with childhood. They rush to grow up and then long to be children again. That they lose their health to make money and then lose their money to restore their health. That they think anxiously about the future. They forget the present, such that they live in neither the present nor the future. That they live as if they will never die, and die as though they have never lived. God's hand took mine, and we were silent for a while. And then I asked, as a parent, what are some of life's lessons you want your children to learn? To learn that they cannot make anyone love them. All they can do is let themselves be loved. To learn that it is not good to compare themselves to others. To learn to forgive by practicing forgiveness. To learn that it only takes a few seconds to open wounds in those they love, and it can take many years to heal them. To learn that a rich person is not the one who has the most, but the one who needs the least. To learn that there are people who love them dearly, but simply do not yet know how to express or show their feelings. To learn that two people can look at the same thing and see it differently. To learn it is not enough that they forgive one another, but they must forgive themselves. Thank you for your time, I said humbly. Is there anything else you'd like your children to know? God smiled and said, just know that I am here, always. In the book The Timekeeper by Mitch Albom, he said that man alone measures time. Man alone chimes the hour. And because of this, man alone suffers a paralyzing fear that no other creature endures. A fear of time running out. But there is a reason God limits our days, and it's to make each one precious. Being humans, we are in constant need of companions. We often forget that there are always people who will support us in our journey. This day is not just for us, but also for our parents and relatives who had been with us through thick and thin. For our teachers who had honed us to be what we are today. And for the community who had sent us through school as scholars ng bayan. Carpe diem, it means seize the day. Make the extraordinary out of the mundane. Find the complex within the simple. Make every tick of a second count, but remember to move at your own pace. Let your loved ones know of your love, and whenever you feel lost, remind yourselves that there is always a God watching us from above. The second step of overcoming oneself is to know yourself. There are two portions of us, the good and the bad. We know all too well that we often discard our negative selves, but this also makes us who we are. Remember that the Taijitu is not complete without either the yin or the yang. All we need to do is accept our flaws and learn from them. If you watch Nickelodeon series Avatar: The Last Airbender, I guess you'd be familiar with this quote. General Iroh said that you must look within yourself to save yourself from your other self. Only then will your true self reveal itself. The real demons are inside of us, and the only person who can succeed over these evils are ourselves. Do not let the world define who you are. Instead, be the one who'll define yourselves. From a bird's eye view, a boat is also shaped like a cup. In Norse runes, there is a rune called Perthro. According to Rick Jordan, Perthro symbolizes an empty cup lying sideways. It could be spilled milk, or drink, or a cup waiting to be filled, or a cup for throwing dice, like faith. Much like boats, all of us are also cups. We start as empty cups. Then, as we advance in life, our cups are slowly filled. But sometimes, our cups get tipped over, and all our contents may spill out. It is at this point that we despair, as everything we once had gets taken away. But an empty cup may be filled once again. We may not fill it ourselves, but it may be filled up by others. The unique thing about Perthro is that among the runes, it has no traceable origin, and even today, it remains a mystery. Ironically, the rune also means mystery or the unknown. The cup signifies mystery, and if we are the cups, the unknown, therefore, lies within us. From here on out, we start sailing away from the harbor. Every seafarer needs a compass, for it tells us which direction we should take. From time to time, there will be unforgiving waves and ruthless storms that will try to sink us. At times, we'll lose our way. We may gradually shed parts of us, both the bad and the good, just to make our boats lighter and for it to stay afloat. But when you're ready, when you know you'll not lose sight of who you are, you can easily face a storm. When faced with a storm and our boats begin to fill with water, do not waver. We are only filling up our cups.